Hello and welcome to Trading After Midnight. Welcome to the monthly review show. One of my favorite shows as we go through basically all of the most important trades of the month, the biggest losers, the biggest winners, and we see how I think I can improve and where I think the market is going in the upcoming month. So let's see how I did. So my 100K account, almost 10%, about 10K profit. So pretty solid month, and I would take that basically every month. But actually, for this particular month, a little disappointed with all the volatility with earnings and all the volatility in semiconductors. I think I left actually quite a bit of money on the table, but we can get into that a little bit more. So let's look at where the majority of my profits came. So SOX, this was by far more than one trade. This was probably 4 or so trades on SOX going long and short. Adobe, which I made a video on Adobe, one of the earliest videos on my channel. Hopefully some of you saw that and made some money along there with me. Also made a video on Dollar General, made almost 2K on Dollar General. Hope you saw that one too. WTW, Wilson Towers. Bet you guys have to look that one up, but almost 2K on that one. Rigetti also made a video on Rigetti, USO, trading some oil. SanDisk went along for a quick trade and one overnight trade on that. Bloom Energy, Salesforce. So yeah, a bunch of small trades, but so those are the biggest winners, but those aren't really what's important. What's more important is the losers. So basically, two losers want to talk about. So the SPY puts, this isn't even really a loss. I bought SPY puts as protective puts to cover me for a majority of the month that I was willing to just throw that money away in my 100K account that was pretty much entirely allocated for long for almost the entire month with the war going on and everything. I had no idea how the market was going to react. So this, I don't even really consider a loss. So just forget about the SPY puts and the QQQ puts. But Meta, this was my biggest blunder. I believe I was up 1,500 at one point and ended up losing 1,500. So that's a 3K swing. And yeah, this is probably due to my biggest strength, and my biggest weakness is I just trade basically off the charts, and I don't really follow the news, follow the narratives, all of that nonsense. I honestly wasn't even aware of all this hyperscaler or whatever they call it and the capex spending, and that's what's drawing all these stocks down. And I was just trading off of the charts and the hyperscalers and spending all the money on the capex and all that I honestly just learned about in like the last month with Microsoft and Meta trading them. And yeah, didn't really know about that, and all the technicals in the world would not save Meta. So yeah, that ended up costing me a lot of money. So yeah, learned a lesson that sometimes you do need to do some research if you're going to take a larger position, especially in these bigger companies. And TE was a 1K loss for me, which is one of my biggest losses. So NUGT, this is not quite as big of a loss as it looks because I actually switched from NUGT MIG trade to GDX, where I ended up actually making the majority of my money back. So, uh, yeah, so that's not quite as big of a loss. I went from leverage to non-leverage in the middle of the trade and gotten the majority of my money back. So really, my biggest losses were Meta and TE, and we'll talk about the TE trade. So TE, what happened here? So we'll talk about the trade, which I don't necessarily think I traded terribly. What is going on? Oops, weekly. All right, finally got the chart. So I made a couple of mistakes. I don't think I traded this that poorly, but I do have a couple of lessons learned from it. So I really liked this trend line, and it was down 26% in 3 days coming into this trend line. And yeah, so I ended up putting, for a $10 stock, I put 10K in one trough, which is quite a big amount, honestly, for a stock like this. But honestly, I was almost looking at this as more of a day trade-ish type thing than a swing trade at the time, just because I thought, okay, we're down 26%. We're coming into, a pretty decent looking trend line. I was expecting, okay, maybe I'll make $100 or $200, maybe more. Should get some kind of bounce here, but we just sliced through this like butter. I mean, as you can see, we closed at the low of the day. 692. So I bought in at 732, and he just sliced through it and closed, below $7. But when you go through a trend line, you have to wait for the confirmation signal, which means you have to wait for it to close the next day below the trend line, for the trend line to not show any strength. But anyway, so yeah, it sliced through the trend line, and just like, whoa, no breath at all, no nothing, just straight through it. But I'm like, all right, I'll hold overnight. Then the next day, just keeps going, all the way down to 647. So this is a green candle here, but yeah, so it just gapped down overnight, and it just kept going down even more, and on the open, and then I held until 11 a.m., which usually I will wait for a stock to close and confirm the next day before I get stopped out below a trend line like this. But it just gapped down like another 3-4% with no, like I said, it sliced through the trend line, then gapped down, and then was just going down even more after going down 26%, straight down, then the next day straight down again. So it's just down, gap down the next day, down again, like just relentless selling. Then I finally at 11 a.m. I'm like, okay, ripcord, I'm out, whatever. Like it literally just was nonstop selling. And then bam, I sell, and just like that meme, like pump it. I sell 30 minutes later, straight up, no jokes. We can look at let's go. Right? I sold here 660. So yeah, I sold uh, so yeah, 1107 I sell. 11:30 it goes down here, and then bam, by 1:30 it's just straight up to my break even, and then next day it goes to 769. So anyway, so yeah, as you can see, straight down with absolute no stopping whatsoever. So anyway, yeah, that was that trade. So that was a fun one. The life of a day trader. Anyway, so yeah, we talked about Meta, we talked about TE. So those were my two biggest losses. But yeah, I guess other than the Meta thing, I did a pretty solid thing. I could have levered up a little bit more on my semiconductors, but I think what I did was correct in just doing straight SOXX and not being crazy and doing options and the SOXL and all the craziness that a lot of people do. You don't get quite as emotional when these things are moving 5-10%. You can sleep much better. It's not quite as big. As you can see, managed to eke out 3K trading SOXX, which is quite a bit of money just trading that index without using any options, any leverage, anything at all. So just trading the technicals, just trading the charts, no leverage or anything, you can still make that much money. And it's a lot less riskier. So hopefully you can learn that. And I didn't take any large, my largest position was 15K. I never even took a larger position than that. I think honestly, most of my positions were between 10 and 15K on SOXX, and I managed to make 3K just trading that size positions in non-leveraged trades. So let that be shown to you, aspiring traders out there. You don't need to go crazy. You don't need to risk your entire accounts. You don't need to blow yourself up. You can just trade the charts, pretty basic, and make a lot of money doing so, and you can sleep much better at night. So yeah. All right, so now we can just quickly talk about where I think the upcoming month, what I think we are going to do in the upcoming month. So, my calls on semiconductors have been almost perfect. So I guess I will give you my thoughts on where I think semiconductors are going in the following month. So yeah, I think we are going back down today. I think we hit my last bounce target. These were all drawn on there before I even hit. So yeah, we hit my last target. The 530, I think, was we were going to bounce. I think the next downside is 440. Right here. So yeah, I think the next downside target is 440. We may have some small bounces between now and there, but honestly, probably not. I think we may pretty much go straight there, but that's how these things have been. But I still wouldn't recommend using options or anything because these things are volatile and it may not go straight there, but that's where my next downside target is on SOXX. But I think I am going to rotate more into software again in consumer staples. I think I played shorting, semiconductors, consumer staples, software is the game plan again for the following month. I'm hoping to get into Adobe again. I'm hoping it pulls back. I will be happy to get in around this level 240 would be a good entry on Adobe, but I would hope to get even a bigger pullback. I would probably just take a small position here at 240, but I would take 220 would be a great entry. So we'll see if the market is red. So yeah, I would love to get an Adobe at 220. So yeah, I would probably take a very small position at 240 and then take a very large position at 220 on Adobe, but I will probably get in. I'm hoping to get into Walmart is on my radar. I'm hoping to get in Walmart at about 105 or so. I'm hoping it hits this line down here. So consumer staples, software, shorting semiconductors was kind of my game plan for the following month. And maybe keep an opportunity for some energy plays that are, if there's any good charts or anything on energy, I'll have to take a look over the weekend, and if I see any opportunities, I'll let you know. But you're gonna have to see how Monday comes and looks, because I have no idea what's gonna happen with Trump this weekend, if we're going to have a big red day Monday, if Trump's going to attack, if oil's going to spike, what's going on. I also am interested in precious metals. Gold is looking to break out on the chart. It's hard to do a chart analysis here because of all the gaps, but gold is getting very close to breaking out a 4100. If gold can break out, then precious metals become very interesting to me. And it's GDX is hovering right around this lesser known trend line. So this trend line is not, this one is the one that everyone is trading off of, this white one, but this yellow one is much longer, is less sane. So this white one is the one everyone is trading off of, but this is a secondary, much longer term trend line that this keeps hugging. But if gold can break out, then there could be a very, very explosive move coming on precious metals that I am monitoring. So that's why I have one approximately 80 days out option on gold, just in case we get a big breakout. Asymmetric bet, who knows? But I think because we're right on the cusp of a breakout, we're at the top of a wedge, which maybe I'll make a video on. But if gold breaks out, it could have a huge move in a short period of time. Anyway, so those are just some thoughts. I doubt anyone is watching, but take care. Have a fantastic weekend.